Good morning, Sava here from Football Heritage TV, joined by the one and only superstar YouTube sensation, Henry Wright TV. How are you?
Wouldn't sound a superstar, but I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah, on the way to 11k. Make sure you subscribe. I'm sure you all have already, but please subscribe and subscribe to this guy, Football Heritage TV, on his way, third person, to 5k. Two things I want to talk about today, Henry. First of all, both bits of information have been reported in the last 48 hours, 24 hours even, by The Athletic. One by Jack Pitt-Brooke and the second one by Charlie Eccleshare. So the first bit of news was yesterday. Jack Pitt-Brooke reported that Mauricio Pochettino, many fans' favourite to take the job back, to bring him home, is not on the shortlist of managers that Spurs are either talking to or about to approach. When you read this news, did this shock you, knowing that this is probably the guy that will unite the fan base more than any other managerial candidate out there?
Oh, yeah, it's massively shocking, isn't it? You think of all the managers out there, him and Luis Enrique are probably the only two that you take that would lift the fan base who aren't connected to a football club. You've got to pay no compensation. You've got the fans singing his name when it's not going to plan. 1 minute it's Levy out, the next minute he's magic, I think that sooner or later that if the results don't go to plan, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool coming up, there's going to be more and more pressure every week mounting, and the fans are going to, the voices are going to get louder and louder and louder. But it's surprising, apparently as well, just on this, company is prepared to reject the Tottenham job. So you think the company's out of the mix, right? It's Brendan Rodgers or Poch, to be honest, isn't it? Is Luis Enrique going to come?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if we're saying if this news is correct and Poch isn't being approached, then it doesn't really leave a lot, does it? For me, it leaves Rodgers, Potter. I'm just now looking at who's available. So let's look at this. So Pochettino, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because a lot of the fan base, you cannot go a YouTube show, you cannot go a football conversation with Spurs fans without Pochettino's name being mentioned. Lots of people want to bring him home. Lots of people believe that he is the guy that can bring back, I think what I would say, Henry, is the connection. People keep talking about they want to feel connected to Spurs again. But do you think...
Well, the club are coming out and saying they're looking at the last 5 months to 12 months in his tenure, that when it didn't go to plan, and that's what they're judging him on. But what about the 4.5 years before that, where we were in a title race with Chelsea, where we did get to an FA Cup semi-final, which we haven't done in probably since then. We did get to a League Cup final in his first season. We did get to a Champions League final. They're now looking at it saying, due to the last 12 months, we didn't win an away game for what?
Yeah, it was like 10 months or something.
Yeah, they look at things like that, when in the grand scheme of things, you look at the overall health of the squad he had.
Yeah, it was better than now. But with that in mind then, is now the right time? From a sentimental point of view, I understand why people want to bring him back, but would we be bringing him back into an absolute shambolic mess? And would he be coming back to what he had before? Now, what I mean by that is when he first came in, for me, I think he's a wonderful coach, Pochettino. Management, I think, back then was a bit naive with certain things, but he came in and he was able to coach Rose, Walker, Ali, Ericsson, Kane, Wanyama, Dembele. Have we got that now?
No, we haven't got the personnel, but out of every manager out there, he's the only one who knows what he's getting himself into, because he knows how the club is run.
Right.
Now, when you look at the actual, forget the business side of things, forget whatever your opinion is on Levy and Levy not, right? We've spent money in the last 5 or 6 years. It's what we're spending it on. If we bring Pochettino in and he has improve these young players throughout his time. Hence why Chelsea want him, all the young players they've got. If you actually look at some of the we haven't got a massively aged squad. Outside of Kane, Lloris and Son, Perisic, everyone's 27 or below.
Yeah. It's not old, is it?
You got your Doji, Porro, Bentancur, Kulu, players like that.
Yeah, Romero, Skip, Sarr, Hill.
You look at it and think, Pochettino, this is great. This is what he's good at, developing young players. But I think overall, it's all about the play style. That is all the fans are on the back of the club for.
So, with that in mind, is it Spurs that are not going after him? Could it be that they're not going after him because his team have said why am I coming back to you? Look how you treated me. Do you think it's a bit of both? Or could it be that our mercurial leader, the man that runs the show, Mr. Daniel Levy, doesn't want to swallow pride and say, you know what, I got it wrong?
I don't think it's want to swallow pride because he has made some big decisions in the last couple of years, firing Jose Mourinho when he knew he got the appointment wrong, firing Conte when he knew he got the appointment wrong. I think it's down to where else does Pochettino go? You look across Europe, where does he go? I don't think he'll be able to handle the pressure at Chelsea because he couldn't handle the pressure at PSG.
I agree.
Right? Atletico Madrid, it's a different kind of pressure because it's domestic success. If we can't win La Liga, we want to win a Europa League or Copa del Rey.
Yeah.
You look across Europe. What other team is there? I can't see him going to Italy.
Well,
I can't see him going to Germany.
They keep linking him with the Real Madrid job, but if you're Real Madrid, you're coming off the back of of multiple Champions Leagues and leagues with people like Zidane and Ancelotti. What has Poch done? If we flip this full circle,
he hasn't done anything.
What's he done? I'm not knocking him, but to take a Real Madrid job, you've got to be of some sort of ilk, haven't you?
They'd look at someone like they'd look at Luis Enrique or someone like Zidane. Luis Enrique, who's won 6 trophies of Barcelona in 1 year. He won absolutely everything.
Yeah.
He's got that prowess of winning mentality, the same as Zizi. Pochettino, I think it's just the attacking play style. With Madrid, if you don't win all the trophies, you're out. Ancelotti could win the Copa del Rey and the Champions League this season and still get sacked.
Yeah.
Because
they're miles off the league, aren't they?
Yeah. So can Pochettino handle? They've got big egos there. Benzema, Militao,
Cruz, Modric.
Hazard. Yeah, I don't think that's for him. I think Pochettino. You look at our squad, and everyone goes about they're throwing the players under the bus, but who's actually got a huge ego?
No.
There's no Paul Pogba, there's no Bruno Fernandes,
and I think that's probably why we haven't done well. We need some egos. If I'm honest, I think we need some winners, some leaders, some egos. But for me, just before we move on from Poch, I think if you look, Arsenal would be the perfect squad for Pochettino, for what they've got. But shouldn't say that. I want to move on, Henry, because look, we don't know. There's going to be lots of managerial stuff going on with Company, with Rodgers, with Potter, Enrique, Nagelsmann. People are talking about Gallardo and Slot. So there's going to be a lot of movement this summer. But talking about movement this summer, Charlie Eccleshare has just posted in the last hour or so, just because Henry's like a walking Sky Sports news presenter. He goes, Sav, have you seen this? He's just reported that Tottenham have no interest in selling Harry Kane this summer, and that Harry Kane is open to staying at Spurs and signing a new contract. Now, I want you to be honest now for the camera. What's the first thing you just said to me when you read this article?
Zero ambition. From Harry Kane, it's not. You're in. As much as we love him, and he's probably one of the best players we've had in the Premier League, probably his top 3 players we've had in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Play for this club. You have to question his ambition as a player. When you look at, even if we go out and bring in a young manager and build, because it's not a rebuild, we're 3 or 4 years away from actually being in a position to be able to compete. By then, Harry Kane's 33 years old.
Yeah.
Is Harry Kane going to be fit and firing like he is now? If you're Harry Kane, you're leaving this summer. Take the emotion out of it. Take out, you're not a Spurs fan.
Take your Spurs hat off.
Yeah, you're leaving this summer. You're knocking on with Chelsea or Man United store. And before anyone says Chelsea below us, the mentality of that club is different to what we are at Tottenham. You got to question his ambitions. As much as we all want to keep him and he'll score 20, 30, 40 goals a season, and he'll contribute wherever he can, you got to question his ambition. You really do.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because look, I see, this is one of the most talked about topics across all Spurs, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, in person, in the pub. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because as a football fan, you don't want to see your best player leave, right? As a football fan, if I'm taking a step back from being a Spurs fan, I'm looking at that, and if he plays for any other club, Henry, if he played for Arsenal and they haven't won anything for a decade, I would be sitting there going, he's well too good to be there. Why is he not moving? Why has he not got the ambition? Now, you can say that loyalty is brilliant, and of course, loyalty in life is everything. It's something that's sorely lacking a lot in life at the moment. But he's going to get to the end of his career if he stays at Tottenham, Henry, and what at best he might nick a League Cup the next 3 or 4 years. I don't even think that.
You look at our history. I don't consider the League Cup as a major honour. For me, it's the FA Cup, the League, Champions League, Europa
Sure.
League. We haven't won a major honour for 32 years.
Yeah.
So if you're Harry Kane thinking, okay, the last 30 years we haven't won anything big, what's going to change in the next couple of years? When you look at Man United, okay, I know they've only won a League Cup the last 5 years, but that is a rebuild because that's a club that have won 13 league titles in the last 20 years.
But I think the difference as well is when he was here under the Pochettino era, even even moving on from the kind of Harry Redknapp era into the Pochettino era, so to speak, there was that vibe that we're en route to something.
Yeah.
And you could see that there was light at the end of that tunnel. Now I can't believe that Harry Kane sits at home and says to himself, you know what? I think we're on the cusp of it.
Yeah, we're miles away. It's not just Harry Kane; it's Son as well. Son's 30 as well now. We've actually got some big problems to sort out in the summer. The goalkeeper situation. All the players
Manager,
out on loan.
director of football.
All the loanees. You got fans saying they want the Celso and Winks back. Like these guys didn't do much under Pochettino or Jose. They're not the answer. We just
clutching the straws.
Yeah, we're crying out for everything. And you've got to remember, in the summer, we're going to need to get a midfielder as well now. Not just an attacking midfielder, because who's going to replace Bentancur?
No,
he might not be fully fit till November, December.
Also, as well, it depends who the manager is. If the manager comes in that wants to play a triangle in midfield, like kind of, if you look how Arsenal play with Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, if we get a manager that wants to do that, we have not got the fullbacks that can tuck in, and we have not got a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder. We've got a lot of midfielders that do the same thing, but that's the story for another day. Look, last thoughts on this. Harry Kane, for me, if he stays, great, we've got goals. But at what point does he down tools? And what I mean by that is, how many years have we got left of Harry Kane really firing to be a top striker, knowing he's not winning anything? Not just going through the motions.
Just next season.
Right.
I think he'll finish. I reckon he'll get a few more goals. I reckon 3 or 4 out of the next 8 or 9 because we've got some tough games. Mm-hmm. He'll finish on 25 goals. Mm-hmm. But I think that's his second highest goal scoring or third highest goal scoring season. Performance wise, I don't think Harry Kane's been a 10 out of 10 this season. I could probably give him a 6 or a 7 at best. Performance wise, but he's still putting the ball in the back of the net. You can see he's unhappy. You can see the body language. That the game that really hit home for him was Sheffield United. The body language of him walking around, Harry Kane normally comes over, claps the fans, says hello. He was just like, I'm out.
And then this you have to ask the question of, at what point do you turn around and go, right, that's it, transfer request. But look, this summer, you said, last thing I'll say is this summer you need a new goalkeeper, centre halves,
midfielders.
You need centre mids, attacking and defensive. You're going to need new forwards because Danjuma won't be there. Lucas Moura's going. What's happening with Richarlison? Is Kane staying? If we want to play a back four, do we need more defensive full? The whole thing is a mess. But the upshot is apparently Pochettino is not going to be the new Spurs manager. Henry, thanks so much. Please subscribe to Henry Wright TV. Let's get this guy. He's going to get 20k by the end of the year. That's the aim.
That'd be the dream.
And please subscribe to myself so we can get me into 5k. Join me tonight, 10 p.m. for the football throwdown. It's going to be myself. We've got Albert JTV from Arsenal. We've got Dave from Nottingham Forest. We've got a Liverpool fan. We've got a Man United for Kaz from Man United.
And you've got a Leeds fan as well.
We've got a Leeds fan coming on. Very brave of him after last night. But listen, much love. Take care. See you soon.